Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Eat. And welcome back to another family dinner episode. I think you all know by now that I love these episodes, and I always look forward to when I get to record them. And it's honestly just more or less a load off of my back because it doesn't require much planning on my end as far as topics and whatnot. It's really just me yapping for 45 minutes, and I hope that you are okay with that. I hope that you you have accepted that by now. If you are a regular listener of the podcast, or maybe you're new here, and if so, I am happy you're here. Welcome. This is Family Dinner, and Family Dinner is a monthly episode that I chit chat about what's been going on, what is happening, updates in life, health updates, all the things. And I really love being able to do that because it gives me the opportunity to just essentially share with you what has been going on, what I've been navigating, and update you from month to month. So that is what we're going to be covering today. This week on the podcast is a double podcast week. So that's super exciting. And I actually just came up with the podcast episode for the second episode of the week. So whether or not this is released before or after, I'm not totally sure what I'm planning to do as far as that goes. But if this is released before, this week's bonus episode is root causes of IBS. And I think that is going to be such a good episode because of how common IBS is, how IBS diagnoses are thrown out like left and right, thrown out all over the place. And it's time we start to dig a bit deeper. And I am taking this from the angle of what I'm seeing in labs. And when people are coming to me, they're diagnosed IBS, the kind of alarm sounds in my brain because I know what I'm going to probably see in labs and I know what to do to fix it. So that's pretty cool. But today we're going to dive into family dinner. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to the table and let's eat. Welcome to Let's Eat. I'm your host, Emily, certified holistic health coach, functional nutrition expert, and self-proclaimed wellness enthusiast, here to meet you at the intersection of physical and mental health, the space within which we become well. This podcast is meant to explore all areas of mind and body wellness, designed to offer you the integrative knowledge, behavioral strategies, and mindset shifts necessary to uplevel your health and feel better today. We'll explore nutrition, sleep, movement, self-care and stress management, habits and routines, self-development, gut health, mental health, and more. I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the table. Let's eat. So let's set the scene here because the scene is everything. I'll be completely honest. The scene is everything right now. I am underneath my blanket in my cozy clothes in my favorite socks. I got these socks from Marshall's a couple months ago. They're Adidas. And of course, I'm never going to be able to find them again. But they are, for whatever reason, just the comfiest socks. So comfy. So I'm wearing one pair of those socks. It is rainy. It is 45 degrees. And it is Saturday. And I taught 2 hot classes this morning. So I'm very tired. But I knew that I had to sit down and record an episode, and I'm plenty fine to do that. It will just be in this uniform, and I am very content. I have spent many Saturdays over the past many years working, and as most of you know, I am a part-time bartender. And just last May, I decided to rid of that Saturday shift, which I had had for several years. And I really just didn't know a life where I didn't work Saturdays. And I think it has been much more abrupt for me in terms of how much I am so thankful that I don't have to work. I mean, I work obviously as I teach classes and I work at home for myself, but I don't miss out on my weekend days as much anymore. And that was something that I did many years. I mean, for anyone who's in the service industry and the restaurant industry, weekends are it. And so for me, being in that position for so many years, I really, more or less surrendered my weekends to that because that was just the way it was. But since really kind of focusing more on my business and being able to step set more into my work, I've been able to have my weekends and it's just been really nice. And so I'm just practicing some gratitude right now for this moment because I'm so happy to be sitting in my desk with this rain outside with a bone broth hot chocolate next to me. Tallow is causing trouble outside of the room, but I'm going to act like I don't hear it. And I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I'm just very, very content. So, what has been going on? Oh my goodness, so many things. This week I am heading to Michigan. My nieces, their birthdays are all within the same 6 weeks of each other. And so she's planning to, or she is planning, or she, she is throwing them a birthday party on Saturday of next week. So my family's going out. I'm flying out on Thursday and I'll be there till Sunday. And so I'm looking forward to a little quick trip and to see them. And they're at, fun ages right now. So last time I saw them was, when was the last time I saw them? Was it Christmas? Yeah, it was Christmas. I guess the last time I saw them was at Christmas. So it'll be nice to spend some time there and my family will be there. So looking forward to that next week. And other than that, that is the extent of my travel for the most part for this year, at least so far. I'd like to get down the shore. I just feel as though I get into, these ruts with life and work that I don't really think to plan anything, and that's probably something I should work out because we all deserve a vacation, right? But to me, I would much rather spend a couple days down at the Jersey Shore than really go anywhere. I also feel like as I've gotten older, flying just really stresses me out. So like this week, thinking about going and flying by myself, I just like it stresses me out a lot. So I really don't care to fly. I actually, for those of you who don't know or weren't here last year, I totaled my car driving out to Michigan last May over Memorial Day weekend. And so driving while Tally could come with me, I am scared for that. That stretch of land, that stretch of road in Pennsylvania, it's like 370 miles or something crazy like that, is a death trap for deer. Deer are crazy in that area. And yeah, I don't know. I would much prefer to drive. I like the idea of having the control and I like the idea of driving my car and having my car. But it is 10 and a half hours and there are a lot of deer. And if I were to go and total my new car, that would just be tragic. So we're just not going to do that. I'm going to fly and it's going to be fine. And that'll be great. So that's what's happening this week. As far as I guess discussions around travel, I am currently in the midst of planning to attend a few conferences come the end of this year, or there's two on my radar. I'm still open to looking for others. But I told myself in 2026 I really want to step out more as Emily in my business and travel for that to attend different networking opportunities, continuing education, and I certainly do a lot of that on my own. But just from a, kind of greater standpoint, looking for conferences, workshops, seminars, things of that capacity that I can attend that requires me to maybe step out of that comfort zone a little. The ones I'm looking at are in Austin, Texas, and West Palm Beach, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, somewhere in that area. And I am looking forward to that. I think that's like so fun to be able to spend the weekend learning about something that I truly just love and being able to travel and explore a new place and get to know people. And so that was on my agenda for 2026. And now it's just about deciding which one I want to go to. I have no hesitations about going. I just need to decide which one am I investing in. That's really what matters. And there's a lot. I honestly was surprised when I started kind of searching it. Like there's a lot of like functional medicine, holistic health conferences. One, I actually got a DM from this woman. I don't know who this woman is. And she invited me to one in Croatia. Like girl, I haven't even gone to one in New Jersey. How about I go to the one in New Jersey first and then I branch out to that type of travel. So that's probably not happening, but I'm thinking about the one in September, which is in Austin, and then there's one in November in Florida. So I'm thinking both of those are going to be the ones that I go to. The one in September, I actually saw this girl that I follow on Instagram, and she went last year, and I was so jealous. I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I know about this? And the company that hosts it, they host it at a resort. It's like a resort and spa in Austin, and the company that hosts the event is a company that I order labs from. So there's there's a handful of lab companies that I order from regularly. This one isn't one I do regularly, but I have ordered from them before. So it's like a longevity summit, and I just think it's so cool to be able to go to something like that. And I remember seeing her post about it and being like, "Oh my gosh, I want the invite next year." And I looked on the website, and I've been checking their website because it looks as though it's application only, which I'm not totally sure how that works, but I'm going to apply. If I apply and get accepted or invited, I'm going. Like, of course I'm going. If I apply and they say, "Yeah, you can come," I'm going to go. So that's one of them. And then, like I said, November, there's another one. The lineup for the one in November isn't as enticing as far as speakers go. So still not sure about that one, but that is the plan. Also, Tallow just walked by. I have this I was given it as a gift. It's like an elephant, but it's got a hole in it and it's meant to hold a plant. So I use it as my door holder opener in my bedroom. And Tally thinks it's her toy and she chews on it. It's like porcelain. I hear her out there. I need to go get it. So I just saw her slowly walk by the door as if like I wasn't going to see her. Like, girl, I literally saw you. So be right back. Okay, crisis averted. Like, she's so funny. Like, she's just so funny to me, but like, no, no, you're not gonna just gnaw on this piece of ceramic or porcelain or whatever it is. Like, what are you like what about that appetizes you? I'm very curious, really. Could you please tell me why you think that that tastes good? Anyway, so that's the plan. I feel like something that I really wanted to moving into 2026, and I've mentioned this on the podcast and I've talked about it in my Healthiest Self series, is really kind of stepping into the identity of being the business owner that I am. I think for many years, as I've started into business, I was still kind of, that was my side hustle, we'll call it. Like my business was like something I was working on, and I was still a student, or I was still a bartender, or I was still, some of these other things. And I feel like this year is the first year that I really feel like secure in my work and what I'm building. And so I really want to travel and to network and to put myself in uncomfortable positions, because obviously traveling by myself to Austin or to Florida is a big undertaking, especially for someone who just said I get nervous to travel or I get anxious to travel, but I am just excited to kind of pursue that and see what comes of it. So that is on the agenda for the latter half of this year. Like I said, I'm still kind of shopping as far as different options, but those are the two that I have my eyes on. So, as far as what's been going on in business, business has been so good. I feel so lucky for the work that I do. I say this all the time, but I'm just so grateful for my clients. I'm so grateful for my work. I'm so grateful for what I've been able to build. And it's just so fun. It's so much fun for me because I just love it so much. It just doesn't feel like I'm working. And I think that that is the goal. That's what I think a lot of people aim for and strive for, is loving what they do so much that it doesn't feel like work. And I feel very lucky to say that. And I am going to say that proudly because I'm proud of what I've built. I've put a lot of hard work into this, and sometimes I'll think about the people, and maybe you're one of them, who have been following me since I started my Instagram in 2018. And I'm sure, obviously, being someone who's watched the journey, I'm sure, you've seen the ins and outs of it all. But that to me is just so cool because I have been sharing on my journey since then. And so it's just wild to think about where I was when I was just starting grad school and kind of just figuring things out and not really knowing what I was doing, to then now fast forward where I am now and just see how things have changed and what I've done and where I am. I mean, it's it's really cool to think about, because I've been able to document and share on it, and people who have been here since the start have seen me show up and have seen me do all the things I've done. And I just think that that is really cool. And I'm so grateful for them. And I just feel lucky because I know who they are. And that's the thing, is like, I know exactly who those people are who have been there since the start. And maybe I don't, see them in real life, but I know that they've been on on my page since the start. And that's just really cool. That's really cool that someone thought that they, or someone wanted to watch and learn and see what I've been up to for the past, how many years? 8 years, 9 years. And I just think that's really cool. So that's that. I don't know what I was saying with that. I just guess that I just love what I do, and I'm so grateful. So, as far as business goes, I'm working on some new plans for other program ideas. I launched Back to Body this spring. It is meant for women who deal with painful cycles and deal with heavy cycles, deal with digestive issues. And so that is wrapping up in a couple weeks. It started in January, and so it was kind of like a pilot run. And so I'm kind of working on what my plans are for that. If I plan to run it again, kind of things I need to, revise, and things I've learned, and just the program structure as a whole. It was all just kind of the initial launch of it. What I'm doing with In Full Function, though, is also under revision. It's kind of an awkward thing to do, because when something is kind of ongoing, it's hard to necessarily revise it on the fly, I guess. Like, I'm having clients on board more or less ongoingly. It's kind of like rolling admissions, where I just have clients joining, and I don't do much of cohorts as much as maybe some other people do, which I feel like at one point maybe I will, but I'm trying to revise it. It's just, okay, well, who's the start of that revision? Like the consults I have next week, maybe they'll be the start of me offering it through this, maybe new pricing or new structure. So it's kind of like, how do you really how do you really integrate something new when some people are still operating by the old structure, and then you have people onboarding for the new structure? It's just kind of a little awkward. So that is something I'm working on. I'm also thinking of doing, and this is a spoiler because I haven't shared anything about this on Instagram or on social media, aside from a few I sent, not even on social media, I sent some emails to some clients of mine. I am working on creating some sort of like annual program, and I'm going to tell you why I want to do this. So, I'm thinking about, how can I serve more people better? Right? That's my goal. My goal is to create a business model and to create programs that serve the people that work with me better. That's always what I want to do. That is what a good business owner does, right? Like, I'm thinking about, what can I improve on? How can I systemize? How can I streamline? How can I make my life easier as a business owner and become more organized? And as far as what this program is, it's basically a way for me to work with clients, but just in a less rigid capacity. And by that, I mean, instead of doing the five foundational labs that I offer, and working with me for the 90 days, this is going to be something that I offer annually. And I want to liken it to basically the annual visit that you might see with your primary. And so, what I mean is, you would come to me, we'd run labs. Preferably, it would be maybe a handful of functional labs. So, probably a stool analysis, maybe a hormone profile. And then I'd also do a very comprehensive blood work panel. So, it would be stool sample, saliva sample, comprehensive blood work, maybe an HTMA, which is hair tissue mineral analysis, but probably just the stool analysis, saliva, and then blood work. And from there, and when I say blood work, I mean blood work, my friends. Okay, we're not just doing like some basic CBC and then calling it a day. I am running all of the things that I know you need to run every year in order to identify health concerns, or at least to identify where things can be improved. Okay, especially if you don't feel well. And then from there, what we would do is, I would create a protocol, but the protocol would be less like 90 days, and it would be more like, okay, this is what you can work on over the next 6 months. This is what you can work on over the next 12 months, we'll call it. And then we meet again, maybe in 3 months, maybe in 6 months. I haven't really figured out the timing per se. But from there, you are able to embark on this, health journey, more or less. And you obviously can schedule calls with me if you have questions and so forth, but it's really more of just kind of like your annual maintenance. And I'm still determining like the name of it and whatnot. But the reason I want to do this is because I feel as though this is a way for us to take functional labs into like regular healthcare. And I don't want to say I am a healthcare provider because I'm not, but it's more so let's take these labs that I know are useful and couple them with blood work so that every year we can check in on how are things going, how are you feeling, and then up level your health which with each passing year by checking in on where you're at and how things are going. And it's just a way for you to kind of do a yearly check-in, an annual check-in on what is going on and where I can make improvements, especially if I'm not feeling well. And then from there, we check in, like I said, every 6 months or whatever the case is. But then you rerun labs the following year and we go through the same process. What's going on? What are we noticing? And, kind of utilizing this as your annual health plan and being able to use it to check in as prevention. Okay, prevention is huge, but also just being able to invest in your health in a way that maybe you haven't been able to do before because your healthcare provider isn't offering it and they're not running as comprehensive of labs as maybe you want, or everything is normal, quote unquote. So I'm just really excited to kind of formulate this. If you are listening and this is something that would interest you, please feel free to message me or DM me or email me because I would be very curious to hear like what you'd want included or what you wouldn't find useful. I'm really just trying to kind of brainstorm around what this could look like, pricing and structure and what makes the most sense as far as support goes. But overall, I'm just really excited to kind of create something that would be really useful, I think, and can create more of like a lifelong partnership between you and I in terms of, we check in every year and maybe we're not meeting as frequently as you would if, for example, we were using the foundational labs. But at the very least, this can be something that you choose to do every year as a way to keep up with your health and as a way for prevention. So that is on the agenda. And that is on the agenda, and I'm going to be working on that over the next couple months so that maybe I can kick it off in the fall. But I'm excited. And like I said, if you have feedback or questions or would like to express interest in this, please let me know. So other than that, business has been super good and I'm so grateful. You guys are probably so annoyed by me, but I really am. Like I love what I do and I'm just so grateful and I just can't wait to continue to grow. And I just think about where I was, and I know I said this on a recent podcast, but I just think about where I was a year ago and I was just kind of getting into I was halfway through more or less the exam process for my certification, and I just think about how much I've grown since then. And so it excites me to think about how much I'll continue to grow in the next 6 months. And I will say like it's not without effort. It's not without effort and application and like really putting myself in a position to learn and grow and expand. Like I never want to stop learning. I think it's a strength of mine, but it's also mildly a I don't want to say a character flaw, is that the right word, or like a weakness of mine? I don't know. But I think I just am hungry for learning more and becoming better, and I think that that can sometimes get in my way. It can sometimes inhibit my progress forward because I still feel like I need to learn and do more and grow when I can just use the information that I have and apply that and still just do and not have to learn more. So, like I said, I think it's a strength because I want to continue to educate myself and that's what any good practitioner would do, but I want to go and start doing. And so sometimes that can hold you back when you think that you need to still learn more, if that makes sense. So anyways, I am really excited for the next few months. I have a bunch of clients onboarding for labs at this moment and getting started with testing. So I'm just excited to continue to support clients and learn more and support them better. And, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And that's pretty cool. Now, teaching has also been great. Love to teach. Love, love it. I just love it. I feel like I've discovered a, a passion that I'm so grateful I've gotten the opportunity to pursue, but I didn't know I had. And it's just been so great. I'm teaching this morning. I taught my 2 hot classes. Tomorrow I'm teaching two classes. Monday I'm teaching 2 classes. Like, am I okay? Is my body going to be okay? Not to mention I taught Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Doubles Saturday, Sunday, Monday. A teaching Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Michigan, which I am staying in a hotel for 2 of the nights that I'm there, so they will have a hotel gym. I am such a sucker for a hotel gym. I love a hotel gym. I think I do the best workouts in a hotel gym. So that's going to definitely tempt me. It's going to tempt me with a good time, and I'm probably going to go work out in the gym. But definitely need to take some rest because after this week, I am single-handedly beating my own self up, but it's fine. It's all for the greater good of all of these wonderful classes that clients love and members love. So you know what, I got to do what I got to do. But teaching has been great. I am really excited to see where my journey with fitness goes as far as like fitness instruction. So obviously love the studio. And have no plans on not being at the studio, but I'm just curious to see if, I can, potentially pursue it in other ways as well. Fabletics actually reached out to me and asked if I wanted to host a class. So basically how that would work, at least to my understanding, is we would host a class. I would host a class in collaboration with the closest Fabletics to me, which is going to be, for those of you who are local, I believe is the Bridgewater Mall Fabletics. If you're in the Hunterdon County, Somerset County, Warren County area, you should know Bridgewater Mall. So that is, I guess, the closest. And so they said they'd reach out to me with more details, but that's basically, I said, yeah, absolutely. I'd love that. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means, but I said yes. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but that is potentially on the radar. And I love it. And I feel so lucky because my work is so, and the way the studio owner puts it, because we talk about this a lot, she says it's fitness, or I'm sorry, yeah, fitness adjacent, what I do. And it's true. I work with clients all the time on their fitness journeys. I actually have a lot of clients who are members at the studio as well, so there's a lot of crossover in that department, and it's just really cool because this is such a passion of mine. Movement has always been, not, at least for the last 10 years it's been. And I just think it's so cool that I get to do this now as my job because it's just so aligned with what I'm passionate for. What am I passionate about? And it complements my business well. So I'm grateful for that. I love it. I have nothing else to say on that aside from, yeah, I have nothing else to say. Aside from my body is a little tired, I will be honest. And so, that also kind of segues into, I guess, I joined a gym. I joined a gym in January and I signed for 6 months. There's a contract that you could choose from 6 months or a year. I signed for 6 months just because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And as much as I had good intentions on going more regularly, I can't. Like, I literally can't. And so I've made the decision that I will not be renewing my membership come July, and I am okay with that. I love I loved going, and I'm happy that I had it for the time that I did, and maybe in the fall, maybe I'll do something else with it again, but at this point, it just doesn't make any sense to be paying what I'm paying per month to go to this gym on days I probably should be taking off because I've taught too much. And yet I'm forcing myself to go to the gym. I'm not able to use it as much as I want. And it's just not worth the money. It's not worth the travel. So I'm happy about that. I'm at peace with it. I was really excited about it. And I still obviously wish it would have worked out, but it's not. And it's fine. So that is going to be the end of that come July, and I'm going to take advantage of it while I have it for the next couple months, and then once that opportunity comes to cancel, I will go ahead and cancel, and we'll be back to my home gym. It'd be one thing if I didn't have all of my equipment at home, but I have a Peloton, I have all the weights I need, and I'm really comfortable leading myself through workouts on my own. I'm thinking about maybe starting a new program. There's a couple different programs that I like, that I might get into just because Peloton's great, but I'm kind of just I need something new. So I'm thinking about doing something else in the interim just to have a little bit more guidance at home. But for the most part, I really just I really don't need the gym environment to feel motivated. I feel very motivated to work out and I have all of what I need here. So that will be the plan. It will be a combination of teaching, at home strength training, walking, and that will be that. So teaching and work is great. And I am working on my healthiest self journey. I've shared obviously through the podcast over the past several months about that. And in a couple weeks, I'll do like a quarter two update. I got all my test results back, so I have been slowly but surely working on that. And because I know that I am not working just with myself for 90 days like I will with a client, I feel like I have the flexibility to be a little bit looser with it. Not like less committed, but more just spread it out a bit so that it's not, saying I'm condensing it into that 90 days. It's spread out a bit more. So that is underway. I'll give a more formal episode update about that in another episode to come, especially as I move through the protocol and so forth, because that is going to take up a ton of time. It's going to take up a lot of time. I did see in my lab results my hormones were really off, honestly, and I was really surprised by that. I had, my cortisol was a little dysregulated. My sex hormones were low, which as of my last hormone panel in February, no, these words are just coming out of my mouth and I'm saying them so confidently, but they're not true. I don't know what is going on. My hormone tests from last spring showed I had high estrogen and low progesterone. My progesterone since has improved, so that's great to see, but my estrogen since has become low. And it's interesting, because obviously it's a whole year, so a lot can happen in a year, which I'm glad to see that I've at least supported my body enough for my body to metabolize and get rid of estrogen, because that's no good. Having high estrogen is no good. But I fear that I've gone too far. I fear that my body has now flipped and now I am showing low estrogen. So that is something that I am working on because of the fact that I know the upstream influence of low sex hormones is stress. And so that is something I have to work on. My testosterone and my DHEA actually both came back pretty high, which that was also very surprising to me. But I have been breaking out more, and now I'm wondering if that is correlating with the fact that those hormones look the way that they do, just because when we have any kind of excess androgen hormone, that can lead to greater oiliness in our skin, and that's usually where acne shows up. I see this a lot in girls who are dealing with acne, and that is not uncommon to see their hormones look that way. So I'm wondering if maybe that's part of it. But anyways, I was surprised to see what came back, and now it's just about addressing it because I know I want to and I know how to. But I was just shocked at first to see my results because I just wasn't expecting to see what I saw. But it's okay. We're gonna work on that. And like I said, in the healthiest self update, I will give more details on that and my protocol and what's been going on as far as that goes. And the GI map too, pretty moderate as far as the results, but still work to be done. So working on that as well. They did forget to include a marker that I had paid for and I ordered, and so they sent me a second kit. So I have to complete that. I'll probably do that next week to ship it out so I can get that information. It was the marker that shows us about leaky gut. So not totally pressing as far as like, if I most people are going to show some level of leaky gut. I just would be curious to see the level of. So that is what I'm going to test for, and they sent me the kit already. So I'm gonna send it out next week. It's a pretty straightforward process, and then I'll get that information back, and I can see what's going on there. And then my HTMA, same thing. I will be talking about that in the Healthiest Self update episode. So let's talk about what I have been loving lately. I feel like my updates are, I guess I have to tell you about Yap and Walk. Holy cow, I have to talk to you about Yap and Walk. So Yap and Walk has taken a turn. All right. Yap and Walk was something that I started in the fall to host a walk with other girls in the area. And on like a Sunday morning, just go take a walk together and yap and have a morning. Well, Yap and Walk has taken traction on TikTok, and now everyone in the state of New Jersey would like to join this event. Okay, this event, which my friends is not really an event, is really just me creating dates and putting them on the calendar and saying, yeah, meet me at this park at this time and we're going to go walk. Okay, so it has taken lots of traction, like I said, on TikTok, and I'm so grateful for it. And now a ton of the videos that I post go viral, and people want to, and viral's an extreme statement. It's like 30,000 views, which I guess is still a lot. But now a lot of people want to partake in this Yap and Walk. Okay, so I made a video a couple weeks ago after our first Yap and Walk. I posted it on TikTok, and I'm literally no makeup in a sweatshirt, just talking about Yap and Walk. And I basically said, if you're in the Warren County, Hunterdon County area, join us next time for our Yap and Walk. And, I was expecting my usual 300 views because that's literally what I get. And no, I got a lot of views. I got a lot of interest. So, which is great, and I'm so happy about it, but I was feeling a little overwhelmed, okay? Like I got hundreds of comments, hundreds of shares, hundreds of followers. I have gotten so many followers from this. And so I planned it for last weekend and it rained. So this weekend we're doing it tomorrow. So by time this episode's released, my first Yap and Walk will have happened. My second Yap and Walk, I guess, will have happened. So in the next family dinner episode, I will have to give you the update on how it went. But that's not all. Okay. So someone commented and said, "Hey, would you want to do this in Bergen County?" All right. And for those of you who are not in New Jersey, I am the closest you can get to like Pennsylvania in New Jersey. Okay. So I'm like the farthest west. Bergen County is much farther east. Okay. Bergen County is closer to the other side of the state. So it's about an hour from me. And I'm not opposed to traveling. Like, I'm not opposed to going to host these walks, but I don't want to drive an hour for no one to show up. Okay. So I made a video and said, hey, would anyone in Bergen County want to do this? And what do you know? What do you know? Every woman in Bergen County wants me to do this. Okay. So I am now planning a Yap and Walk in Bergen County. Never probably been there I don't know if I've ever been there. I probably have, but I don't remember where I was in Bergen County. Have to find a park to have this Yap and Walk at, but it's happening. So now I have people in all counties of New Jersey wanting to join. I've made a broadcast channel on Instagram, which is basically like a group chat, more or less. And I've had many people join this broadcast channel. And it looks as though in a couple weeks I'm going to be hosting a Yap and Walk in Bergen County, New Jersey, with all of these women who want to join. Now, I am not complaining at all. I'm very happy to do this, and I'm actually very excited to do this. It's just so funny to me how this happened. Because what? Like, I'm sorry, what? So, this is me putting it out there. This is Saturday, April 25th, 2026. I am looking forward to this summer being a summer of yaps and walks, okay? Of yapping and walking and both of them together. And I'm thinking this is going to become something a little bit more than what I had initially thought of as far as just being a local community walk where we get together and we go. I'm thinking this might become something more than that. And there's two people that come to mind that are they've got much larger followings than I do, and they host fitness events And that's like so fun to me. Like I'd love to be able to do that. And so this to me feels like the good start to that, or a good start to that, of like starting to bring people together, create that community, get people interested in something like this. So stay tuned for the evolution of Walk and Yap and Walk. I can't even remember what I named it. Yap and Walk. Just know you were here when we started from the bottom, okay? And now here I am venturing out to Bergen County, New Jersey to host this walk and meet with these women who I've never met before. And something about me, which you probably know this by now, I I will go up to any person, anywhere, anytime, and talk to any person about anything. That is one thing bartending has allowed me to thrive with, okay? Is being able to have conversations with any person, anytime, any place. I don't care. I could roll up to this park in Bergen County. I'm not going to know anyone unless I drag one of my best friends to come with me, which I probably will because I'd rather do that to be safe. But I'm not gonna know anyone, but you know what? I know how to yap, so let's go. Let's go do this. Okay, so that is what's happening in a couple weeks, Bergen County, and I'm gonna host another one in this area in May as well, and probably do one every month in this area. But then I'm gonna be county hopping over the course of the summer, it seems, to other areas to host walks. So if you are in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, listen, I hope to see you. I hope that you will join us on one of our Yappin' Walks in the future. I'll keep you posted. Join the broadcast channel on Instagram if you're interested. And yeah, here's to something new. So, what have I been loving lately? What have I been loving? Well, I treated myself to a Breville espresso machine. I was gonna wait until I got 8,000 followers on TikTok, and this Yap and Walk explosion lended its hand to my TikTok following growing, and here we are. So I got myself a Breville. I'm still very much in the trenches of learning how even to use it. I really am just, I'm so, I'm so inexperienced here. So it's been fun though to kind of play around and learn more about it and what I can do and am I doing this right and why isn't the espresso pouring out and lots of things. So I'm working on that. That's been fun and I'm excited to continue to use it. Trying new coffee brands. Some of the brands I've been loving are Kion, Kion. All of these brands are also linked in my Shopify if you want to go shop them. They are mold free, so mycotoxin tested, organic, high quality. So love that. So I tried Kion, Kion. I tried Equip Foods. That's probably one of my favorites. Equip Foods is the brand. And then I also have Lineage Provisions, which I also really like too. So I probably will oscillate between those three, but I also have a decaf one. I've been trying some decaf ones as well. So that has been a lot of fun to play with and to make my coffees in the morning because you know how much I cherish my coffee. So something else that I've been working on is my hair. I just got my hair cut, so that's always fun. But I've been working on my hair growth and just taking better care of my hair in general. So I was gifted these serums. One, they're both by the brand Barebone, but I was gifted the hair growth serum and then just the hair serum. So one you put in your scalp and the other you put in your hair. I am very weird about like oils in my hair just because I really can't stand when my hair is oily and greasy. So I've been using it sparingly, but I'm trying to do at least 2 times a week and I'll massage the scalp oil into my scalp. The areas that I'm targeting are kind of right around my hairline where I feel like I have lost some hair there. And then obviously putting the hair serum in my hair just kind of throughout my hair. So that is something that is in contribution to my healthiest self. I've also completed how many sessions? 5 sessions of microneedling. So that was the best decision ever. I love that. I will probably now do that at least a couple times a year. I am really happy with the results. I definitely still have work to do on my skin, but I committed to 6 sessions. My sixth one is actually in 2 weeks. and then I will be done. And then I'm just going to keep it as far as like maintenance goes. And so that has been really, really big for me because I spent a lot of time really angry and at war with my skin. And this was a big investment, but to me, it was worth it because I see the results and I'm someone who's going to pay for something like this because of the fact that, it's to me, I would much rather pay for something with my skin than buy like a new purse, like or new shoes or something. That's just like not my thing. So that is something that I invested in, and now I'm working on my products. So I've been using vitamin C by Coco Kind, the retinol by Coco Kind, and just trying to be consistent with actual products and not just kind of, oh, I tried this moisturizer or I try this or that. I'm sticking to it. I'm being consistent with it, and that's really what's most important. So healthy skin, healthy hair, part of my healthiest skin, my healthiest self journey, and that has been a lot of fun. So, what else have I been loving? Oh boy. All the usual suspects. Okay, I've been walking more with the weather being nicer, which has been great. I have been focused on getting more steps in, focusing on my aura ring metrics. That has been that has been important to me, especially as I continue with my healthiest self journey. I have been reading more. At least I'm trying to get myself to read more. That's just always just a struggle. I did interrupt my reading to record this podcast episode. So you're welcome. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I started to read and I was like, wait a second, I have to record a podcast. Like, what am I doing here reading? So once I'm done with this, I'm gonna run an errand or two and then I'm gonna come back and read a little bit more. And then that will be my wild Saturday night. I do have to get up tomorrow earlier than usual on my Sunday, so um I'll be in bed early, which what else is new? But that is going to be my plan for this evening. And I'm just ready for the warmer weather. Like I've said to you all winter long, every episode I've probably made some sort of comment about the the weather. And it is almost here. We're at the end of April. May can sometimes kind of be hit or miss as far as the weather goes, but I'm hopeful that, as we move into May, it's a little bit more consistent, we'll say, and that will be a game changer. I can be on the deck. Tally and I can walk when Tally decides to be cooperative. It's just everything about the warmer weather makes life better. And I think everyone can agree with that. So that is that is exciting. So I wanted to finish off this episode with a few questions. I used to do this on the family dinner episodes, but I feel like I kind of either fell off of it or I would run out of time. So let's do a few Q&A. The first question I have or I had over Instagram was how to get started on a low tox, non tox journey. So I did talk about this on Instagram a little bit, but I'm just going to rapid fire kind of explain to you what I would suggest. First and foremost, if you want to go to my Amazon storefront or my Shop My, I link a ton of non-toxic options there. This is not me trying to direct you to, to buy all these new things, but at least to familiarize yourself with brands. That can be really helpful to get started. Because I remember for me, when I first started, I felt overwhelmed too. And I was like, I just want someone to tell me, like, here are the brands that you can use, and that here are the brands that are non toxic, especially because a lot of brands out there will put slap their labels on something and say, "Oh yeah, this is clean or this is natural," and it's not. So, having that guidance was what I really needed. So, take a look at that as a resource if you need to get some brand ideas. I would also suggest moving into the non-tox world gradually. Like I said, it can be very overwhelming at first, so don't expect yourself to make all these swaps all at once. I would say start with products that you're not super attached to. That means like, your toilet bowl cleaner or your shower cleaner, whatever the case is, like things that you're just kind of like, yeah, I don't really care as long as it does the job. Swap that out first. That can be a great way to start before moving into something that you're really attached to that you really like. Just not expecting yourself to make such a major change with a product that you really love. Instead, start with products you don't really care about and just start there. I would also say don't make swaps until you run out of something. So don't be wasteful. Just make the swap once you run out of whatever it is that you're using. And that can be a good way to go about it, like more gradually, but also, you're kind of just checking boxes. Like, okay, like I've just run out of the air freshener that I use. So let me go make this swap now. And then you're kind of doing it in a way that feels a little bit more organic than doing it all at the same time. So definitely something I would recommend as well. I would also just find some brands that you love and that you trust. I think one of the biggest ways the industry, whatever industry you want to call it, the industry makes money is by creating these individual products for individual issues. Like there's brands that are just dedicated to, 80 different varieties of, I don't even know, like 80 different varieties of laundry detergent. Like Tide probably has so many different options. It's like, is it all really that different? Like, is this going to make is this, an extra soft softener that's, compared to the just regular soft softener? Like, what really? That's kind of, I'm skeptical about that. Okay. So sometimes finding brands that offer, like for example, Branch Basics is a brand that I really love. You can shop their website with Whole with Emily as a code if you're interested, or go to my Shop My, it's linked there. And they make all sorts of products, but most of their products are using basically the same concentrate, just at different strengths. So it's really a money grab when these brands are trying to tell you, okay, well, you need a certain cleaner to clean your toilet, you need a certain cleaner to clean your shower, or did I say that right? You need a certain cleaner to clean your shower, a certain cleaner to clean your toilet. No, you don't. Just use the same cleaner. This might be an unpopular opinion, okay? You might be sitting there saying, absolutely not, I have to use my specific cleaner. But stop doing that, okay? Stop using the toxic products, switch to the non-toxic products, and you can use, I'm just thinking, Branch Basics has a bathroom cleaner. It's like a bathroom specific cleaner. So you can use that in your shower, in your toilet, in your sink, instead of having to buy, many different products. Okay, so those are my steps for you. Once you find brands that you like, stick with them. Attitude is a really great brand. They make a lot of products that are better quality, and they make everything you could possibly need. So sticking with them, they're affordable. That's a good option. Branch Basics, Molly Suds, Grow is another brand I like. Lots and lots of brands out there that you can turn to that are higher quality, at least lower tox, and you can rely on them, and then you can just start buying from them instead. So my friends, we are going to wrap it up for today. I think I've taken far too much of your time just yapping, and I feel like this family dinner episode was pretty low key. Maybe not. Maybe it was. I think it kind of was. But ultimately, I just like these episodes to kind of chit chat and to just share a little bit more and be a little bit more vulnerable and honest and transparent about kind of what's going on with business and my ideas and how I'm feeling. And I'm so grateful. I love the podcast. I love what I get to do here. And it just makes me excited for what's to come as I'm able to reflect on where I am and feel grateful for where I am, but just know that there's so much more exciting things coming ahead. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you back at the table soon. And until next time, be well.